Hey guys, Shalene here. Okay, I wanted to jump on here and quickly go over something that I feel like is a make or break for a lot of coaches in their business, and that is objections. As a new coach, I often feel like you instantly, and I had this totally when I started, you instantly have that like gut negative reaction when you get an objection to what you're doing. Now, this is for literally anything in my life, I find, but especially when it comes to something that you're really excited about and the other person that you're talking to maybe isn't as enthused as you are or isn't as excited as you are. And oftentimes, what can happen is an objection to something that you're doing, whether it's the coaching opportunity or whether it is just joining your health and wellness journey. It can totally stop you in your tracks. And I know that for me, I already kind of felt insecure about what I was doing when I first became a coach. And so if someone had a different opinion of what I was doing, I instantly thought it was negative. It might not have even been negative, but I instantly thought any objection whatsoever was negative, and it felt really personal. And that for me was something that I just worked really hard at trying to move past. But I had to learn how to do that. And I want to give you guys some tips in this video on how to push past objections and some things that maybe you could say to help with objections, because an objection to me is an opportunity. And I know that it can feel really, really strange talking about something that you feel like you don't know everything about. You know, maybe you don't know everything about the products that we have. You don't think you know everything that's in Shakeology. I still don't know everything that's in Shakeology. You don't know all the ingredients lists or how much protein is in this or every single workout that's available or what workout is best for this type of person. And how do I invite when I don't even know how to be a coach? How do I invite someone on my team when I don't know these things yet? And so when someone hits you with an objection, instantly it plays into that insecurity that you might already be feeling. So here's the thing though, and this is really why I feel like Beachbody has worked for me, and it's because everyone needs a health and wellness product or program of some sort in their life. And I truly believe that there's a health and wellness needs to be a priority in your life if you want to be living your best life. And so right now, I feel like we live in such a peer-to-peer marketing society. Think Uber, Airbnb, everything that has reviews. It's like everything right now is based off of other people talking about their experience with it. And that's exactly what Beachbody is. It's a peer-to-peer marketing system that allows other people to have a great experience with you and then go and share that with their friends and family. It's you having a great experience with the programs and products and sharing that with other people. That peer-to-peer marketing is really what I feel like sets Beachbody aside from some of the other things that maybe in the health and wellness industry people could be going for. And I think at the end of the day, people really just want you to know that you are really like them. And they can totally see themselves in your shoes doing what you're doing. So I don't think that knowing everything about it is the way that we need to approach this business. And even though I feel like, especially for women, for whatever reason, we feel like we need to have all of these qualifications in order for us to apply for the job. And if we don't, somehow we feel like an imposter in some way. And this rings true for men as well, but especially for women, I find. And I just want to reiterate to you guys that you don't have to know it all. That's the beautiful thing. You just need to show up. People want the journey. They don't want the end destination. And you are going to get 1,000 objections in this business, 1,000 objections when you start. You are going to be inviting people. You're going to begin inviting people. You're going to begin talking to people, and it's just inevitable. Objections are completely normal in this business. And if you aren't getting any, then I would actually argue that you aren't working your business. And if you said you invited 10 people and all 10 of these people, for example, say all 10 of these people said yes, or like, I would love more information, or oh my gosh, that sounds incredible, let's do it. I actually would have a hard time believing you. I have yet to have a coach that has come to me and been like, wow, I sent out 10 invites today and everyone is on board. That isn't realistically. realistic. Most people send out 10 invitations. They get 8 people that ghost them and 2 people that are like, what are you talking about? And no, I don't say that in a way to scare you from talking to people. I just say that because it's totally normal. And I don't want this piece to block you, because if you are afraid to move past objections and afraid to move your business through objections, you're never going to grow a business. But we're going to help you through all of that. So anytime I try and frame it like this, like anytime I go and I purchase something, if I'm going to look for a new bedroom set, if I'm going to look for a new piano, I play piano. If I went to go look for a new piano, the things that I would do to get that piano are a lot. I would go and I would check out a couple of different stores that actually sell the piano. I would shop around. I would look at the different types and the options available to me. Do I want a baby grand? Do I want a keyboard? What do I want? What are the pros? What are the cons? I would check out the different stores. I would sign up probably for a newsletter to get a deal, because I'm all about the sale. And I would probably look and see like who ships to my area, because I don't have anything that I can bring this product home for. So I need to know who's going to ship it to me. You guys, that goes for absolutely anything. And we're constantly having all of these objections. Like for me, I know I constantly have all of these objections to any brand or product that I purchase every single day. So objections are totally normal. And I really just want to make sure that we normalize what that is, because it is not something that is personal. I think that understanding, if we can reframe it, and that knowing that objections don't become a personal attack. Objections are completely normal. Objections mean that the other person just hasn't 100% made up their mind on whether or not this can work for them. I mean, another great example is Apple. Think of if you've ever bought a Mac or an iPad or an iPhone or literally anything Apple, the very first thing you probably said about the product was, wow, that's expensive. That is an objection you're going to get. No, Apple doesn't get upset when someone says, oh my gosh, that's expensive. They're like, no, we have an incredible product, and they're confident in what they sell. They know their product is going to serve me. They know I'm probably going to buy it, even though I said it was too expensive. And it's the same for us. I really feel like if you become a product of the product and you're confident in knowing what Beachbody has helped you in your life, not necessarily knowing everything about Beachbody, but how you apply it to your life is going to be the main way that you combat objections. And I think overall, just understanding that an objection is not a reflection of how a person thinks about you. It's a reflection of where they're at in their life. They're thinking about themselves just as much as you're thinking about yourself. And they're not thinking about you as much as you are. So let go of the idea that objections are not going to happen. Let go of the idea that objections are bad in any way, shape, or form. And that you have anything but the utmost respectable items and products to give people. So let's look at what objections really are. It is totally just, it's almost like a complaint, right? It's something that people want you to hear. They want you to listen to it. They're almost asking you a question in a sense. And it's an opportunity to talk to them about what it offers in a different way, in a different perspective. Because this is really what we're doing. We're shedding light on a different perspective. It's an opportunity for you to practice talking about all of the things. And I know for me in the beginning, it was really hard. I had to fumble through a lot of my words. I had to find what felt good for me to speak to. I had to handle objections by reading different scripts and listening to videos like this, and then really figuring out what felt good for me and what my experience was. And I pulled from my experience and the experience of other coaches on this team if I hadn't had that experience yet. So one of the main objections you're going to get is price. I feel like everyone complains about the price of everything though. Our challenge packs are no different than that. I mean, people complain about a $4 box of cereal because they think it should be cheaper than that. It's not about the product being expensive. It's just literally how we're wired as humans to protect our money, and we're taught to get the best deal. It's why we love sales. Beachbody products are top level though. They are like the brand name of brand names when it comes to the products, the supplements, the programs, the workouts, everything. They are top shelf. And so, yeah, some of the products are a little more expensive than what you're going to find anywhere else, but it's because it reflects what you pay for. And I always want to make sure that's presented in a way that reflects the quality of what we have and what you're getting based instead of just a price point. So I think ultimately acknowledge the objection. Always, always, always. You're right. It is expensive. I hear that a lot. But I'd rather have an expensive product that I'm actually putting in my body than what I'm getting for less, and I'm also putting less into my body. When it comes to Shakeology, here's the thing for me. I pull from my experience that I know that this is top shelf, because for me, I actually used to feel pretty tired and lethargic. I wasn't very healthy. I didn't have a great immune system. I wasn't having pre and probiotics. I also was buying a Walmart protein. Well, I was getting what I paid for. And I pull from that experience sometimes. And I say, like, when I heard Shakeology, the price of Shakeology, I was instantly like, whoa, that's crazy expensive. But I actually looked at the nutrition label from the Walmart protein that I was getting based off of the Shakeology ingredient list. And for me, one, I didn't even look at the ingredient list on the product that I purchased off the shelf. I just went, oh, 20 grams of protein, great. And I put it into my system. But the ingredients that I found in there, I didn't even know what half of them were. It was actually pretty scary to learn what I was putting into my body. And so where I thought cheaper was better, I realized that Shakeology was actually more than just a protein shake. And I started feeling more energized. I had less cravings. It helped with Jared's IBS symptoms. I've actually never been healthier than I've been now my whole life, and I haven't stopped drinking it since the day I started 2 years ago. And so I think when you relate it to your experience and you put it into perspective for them, that's a big thing. So go with that first. Another thing that I would do when it comes to price objection is breaking it down for people. I realized that a shake was $5.25. I'm speaking Canadian dollars, which for me is, I'm getting something that's $5.25 that's equivalent to 7 salads. I would totally spend that on a takeout meal that has zero nutritional value. And break it down into like almost like what a payment plan would look like for people. Even the Beachbody On Demand, same thing. People are just paying for it upfront. Break it down though, like by shake or by month so that they can see that. Objection number 2 that we get often, I'm not a salesperson. Here's something like what I would say back. Oh my God, I am not a salesperson either. I'm totally not in sales. I never wanted to be in sales. But you know what? I actually jumped into a sales job 4 years ago because I honestly thought it was the only way I could bring an income into our family without going back to school after kids. And I honestly hated it. I was so hesitant when it came to coaching too, because I had such a bad experience in my sales job. But I actually found I don't feel like I'm selling at all. You don't have to be a salesperson. And if it ever feels salesy or icky to me, I know I need to pivot in the way that I'm presenting things to people. I really felt like through sharing my journey in the first month of coaching, I had a lot of people who were just curious about what I was doing, and I was able to help them get started on their journey because they were feeling stuck just like I was. And that's how I would totally present it. I would voice note somebody, I would video message somebody, I would get on a call with somebody, and I would let them know that that has been my experience with like not wanting to be salesy and how I actually present the business now. Another objection that you might be getting is, I could never do what you do. I'm not where I want to be yet. You know what? Acknowledge it. You're right. I totally felt the same way. And I feel like that can totally, it can look like that from the outside in maybe, but I was where you were. And when I started coaching, I wasn't where I wanted to be yet. I have done, and you're a new coach. So this is from my perspective and what I would say. You can pull on my story. You can pull on other stories from the coaches on our team and kind of how they have really combated, this whole objection. But I think ultimately it's just letting people know that you don't have to be where you're at. I think the majority of people who are really successful in this business are ones who are on their journey. They're ones who take people along for the ride. They show them where they want to go and they take them on that journey. People want to watch the journey. They don't want to see you at your end destination because that's not relatable. So thank goodness you aren't where you want to be. It's by using these products and sharing about them that you'll become more successful than anybody else. Relate it to them. And that is like 100% the truth. Objection number 4 that I get a ton is I don't have time. Okay, this is where you need to flip the script. And usually that's what we do. Ask them what a typical day looks like for them. Most people are going to see that they have a lot of wasted time. This is not in a way to be like, oh, I feel like this is where you could use your time better. I feel like telling people that sometimes comes off a little bit wrong, but it's like, hey, well, what do you do with your day? Like, what does the day look like for you? And they'll be like, well, I roll out of bed at like whatever time. I get ready. I go to work. I come home. I make dinner. I put the kids to bed. Oh, okay. Well, like, what do you do at lunchtime? Oh, maybe there's an opportunity for time there. What do you do when the kids go to bed? What time do you normally wake up? Do you work out when you wake up? When the first thing you wake up? Letting them know, like starting to ask questions about different times of the day that they haven't told you about is really where this is going to let you open the box for conversation. I have actually shared before, oh my gosh, I actually used to use my time to stalk the girls I used to went to high school with on Facebook, and I totally wasted so much time. But then I actually realized that I could use that time to pour it into my business. So instead of scrolling, I started really using that time to build a business. And it doesn't take a ton of time every single day to do that. It really is just doing things slowly over the course of a longer period of time that will eventually get you to the place that you want to be at. But let me tell you, you don't need 8 hours a day to be a coach. Pull from what they're doing, keep it fun, keep it light, share a crazy story that you used to stalk people on the internet, share whatever it is, or that, you got up an hour earlier and you decided to build your vision of what you wanted for your life to look like. So really pull from a lot of that. I think objections at the end of the day are really something that you're going to take and use that as an opportunity. The last thing that I want to say on that is when you're using that as an opportunity, talk about that on your social media more. So if you're getting an objection over and over and over again, then you likely have a larger audience who's feeling the same thing. They're just not saying anything to you because maybe you haven't spoken to them yet. So use your story to change your audience's perspective on what you have to offer. I think ultimately when you do that and you show up and you combat objections in your stories, in your posts, you will find that when you move the conversation into the DM, it's releasing a lot of pressure from your audience to feel like they can talk to you about those things because they feel like you've experienced it and you've been there and you've done that. The other really great thing is that you've kind of already addressed their concerns, right? So it's easier to have a conversation as a friend to help them get started on their health and wellness journey. And really, at the end of the day, focus on objections being a positive part of your business. It's really an opportunity for you to help people get out of their own way and get out from behind their own excuses. And I know you know what that feels like because I feel like every single one of us here had an objection about either the business or the health and wellness opportunity before we started to. So don't try and be perfect with it. Don't try and pretend like you never had an objection. Tell them how you worked through that objection. Share what your experience was. Share that you were totally wrong in thinking one way or the other, or how you came out the other side to make this positive in your life. That is the best way that you can deal with objections. But we have tons of more training on objections. So make sure you dive into that and ask the question. Share the conversation. If you are getting an objection from somebody, share with your coach. This is what I just got. How do I respond? I don't know. Let us help you navigate that conversation and tailor it in a way that helps the person on the other end because they're thinking about themselves. And if they're answering you, likely they're thinking about their health and wellness journey or the coaching opportunity in some way, shape, or form. So help them to identify where they could take this as an opportunity to get them to where they want to be. I hope that helped you guys. If you have questions on it, as always, please let us know. But ultimately, objections are a positive thing in your business.